Professor Zing Yi, Dean of Foreign Studies College, to give us a welcome speech. Okay, let's welcome.
Dear Professor Mark Turner, respected Director Liu Xiang of Department of Science and Technology of Hunan Province, 尊敬的刘湘处长, dear Professor Bai Jiehong, and distinguished guests, all the scholars and participants online and on-site, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. During the festival season, I'm so delighted to see such a great number of reputed experts and scholars across the world to join us at Hunan Normal University, either online or on-site, to discuss and share your insights on multimodal communication with regard to the emerging computational and technical methods. I'm grateful to Professor Mark Turner and all my dear colleagues who have co-organized and arranged such a beautiful program. Our great master Confucius says, "It's indeed delighted to have friends coming afar." Even today, many of our friends are online. So on behalf of Foreign Studies College, Hunan Normal University, I'd like to extend my warmest congratulations on this successful conference and my sincere welcome to all the participants. Welcome and thank you. Hunan Normal University, founded in 1938, is located in Changsha, famous for its history and culture. It is a leading university under the 211 project with a double first-class strategy plan, a key double first-class university of co-development in Hunan under the Ministry of Education, China. An outstanding university in the undergraduate teaching evaluation of Ministry of Education, and a world first-class university project in Hunan province. It is among the most active universities in promoting international communication, having built close relationship with 187 universities and institutions in 45 countries and regions, and carried out cooperation projects with universities in Russia, Britain, the United States, Germany, and other countries. Established in the same year, the Foreign Studies College of Hunan Normal University is one of the 7 departments established based on its predecessor, the National Teachers College, that is, with Mr. Chen Zhongshu, known as a cultural master scholar, as its first dean. Over the past 8 decades, through the hard work of scholars and educators from generation to generation, great results have been achieved. The college has initiated cooperation and exchanges with over 30 universities and research institutions abroad, co-worked with the Red Hat Lab to have established a data center and research center exclusive in Asia. The annual International Conference on Multimodal Communication is one outcome of the Foreign Studies College long-time cooperation with the Red Hat Lab, especially with Professor Mark Turner. The past 2 years have witnessed the outstanding success of this conference series and their profound international influence. Timely at this moment, the 3rd annual international conference as a big event brings us together again for the intercultural communication and exploration. We are so honored to have invited our distinguished plenary speakers from the United States, Canada, Germany, Brazil, Spain, and China to debate, discuss, and highlight the key points, trends, and reforms in multimodal communication with the big data scenario. I sincerely hope you all will enjoy the 2-day sessions of illuminating debate and discussion. Let me now conclude my speech by wishing this conference a complete success and everyone all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Zheng, for your illuminating speech. Now, we have great honor.
Thank you, Professor Zheng, for your illuminating speech. Now,
okay, so some echoes. Now we would have great pleasure to invite our co-organizer, Professor McTurnell, to give us a speech. Let's welcome.
Hello, China. Good morning. It's great to see you. And appropriate greetings to everyone else in the world. The conference series here has been able to bring together people from many different parts of the world. And so it happens again. And each year we need to thank our wonderful hosts, Hunan Normal University, especially my co-organizer, Dean Yanyu Zhang, for putting this together. These are all recorded and they have been shared many, many times around the world. We put them on our channel. We get responses from them. It's a tremendous series. This year, we have chosen a theme, emerging computational and technical methods. So let me give a little introduction to that. By the way, everything I'm going to say can be found at markturner.org. This is a site that's fully available in China. It is never blocked. You can get the link to this conference. You can also get the demonstrations of any number of other sorts of things, such as the fact that there is now a new Chinese translation of one of my, I'm going to share the screen now. Here we go. There's a new Chinese translation of one of my books. Yeah, I hope you can see that. The theme this year is computational and technical methods. And why is that important? Well, if we look at the study of communication, we see that in principle, there could be a tremendous use of new technical methods. And the reason for that is communication is vast. In principle, there's just vast data, language, speech, gesture, literature, translation, writing, music, song, signage, material affordances, architecture, landscape. But historically in practice, because human beings are limited, we've had very small data sets. We've had largely enormous data, but methods for small data and intuition. And so I'm a linguist, and one of the things I mean by an intuitive method is acceptability judgments. When I began my career, we would sit around and ask ourselves, could we say things this way? Could we say things that way? And then we had to decide whether or not it was grammatical. And that was an analysis of what we thought was native to the structure, the syntax, the semantics, the pragmatics of language. But we know now that that set of methods is in fact very weak. There have been lots of publications showing in particular that the experts are usually less accurate about what's acceptable to native speakers than are run-of-the-mill, everyday speakers of the language. Now, if we look at other fields, not even genomics, astrophysics, epidemiology, neuroscience, but things like human decision-making, we see that there have been tremendous achievements by using big data science. So, for example, in human decision-making, people have to decide what to do next. There's a sequence of events, and many times these events are not independent. So if you live in a certain area and you know the weather, and you know the clouds only have so much rain in them, and they've been raining for a while, you might say, well, it will stop raining soon. And you could be pretty good in your prediction. But for a lot of other things, events in a sequence are independent. They're just at chance, like flipping a coin, right? But people often seem to feel that they get a kind of sense that their luck is about to change, that things have been going one direction, but it's time for their luck to change. And they make investments on the basis of that feeling, we think. They make decisions about war and about politics and about dating, we think. Is there a way to study this? Is there a way actually to get data? Well, it so happens that there's a card game, it's a gambling game called blackjack, in which you are playing against the dealer to try to get closer to 21 than the dealer does. And there's always been this notion of the gambler's fallacy, that when somebody has a run, like flipping a coin 5 times and it comes up head 5 times, they want to bet that it's going to be tails the next time, even though they know the events are independent. Well, is this myth true? Do people actually play this way? I have a student who wanted to study how people bet in blackjack. How do they respond if they have an unlucky run? Well, how do you get data? He went to the casinos, but that's very, very hard. The way to get data is now to go online, where everybody is playing blackjack for real stakes against the dealer. There's all the data in the world, but how do you capture it? Easy answer. There is computer vision called YOLO. You only look once, and it can recognize the cards, and the computer can record what the cards are and what the bet was. And then there's another set of software that can analyze whether or not that bet was rational. And there are scores of these sites. So you can leave the data computational methods running for days and days and days and get lots and lots of accurate data, ecologically valid data, that the computer stores, parses, analyzes, and renders for you, right? So now we can begin to answer questions that previously couldn't be answered just because we didn't have those methods. Now, in communication, what we see, of course, are patterns of usage in big data all over the world in all these languages. It's been going on for at least 50,000 years. There are 8 billion people in the world. Almost any scene of human interaction is a scene of human communication. Even if you're alone, looking at the architecture, looking at the landscape, or even gesturing to yourself, thinking to yourself, fabulous amounts of data. Can we locate patterns of communication that we typically don't notice in, for example, gesture or eye gaze, things like that, the way people stand and move next to each other when they're trying to communicate? Can we get evidence that we typically cannot spot in consciousness of patterns of various acoustic phenomena, for example? And can we do all this multimodally so that we're using the full range of human performance and taking account of the way that performance helps us or makes it possible for us to communicate well? This conference is really about the future, because the future of big data science methods is already here. It's just unevenly distributed. And in this conference, we're going to provide a number of introductions to some of these computational and technical methods and indicate ways to get started. If we can do this, and we already have started, we hope that we will be able to locate patterns that we previously could not locate, that we will begin to train all students who study communication, literature, translation, gesture, journalism, in data science, just as part of their natural education and their natural formation to be able to use these methods, right? And of course, above all, what we're trying to do is make a kind of global collaboratory. That is to bring the entire world of scholars together. Instead of having the individual scholar look at a small set of data, think about it for years, and then publish a summary in a journal article somewhere, which is useful, but not nearly as useful as having all the scholars being able to work together on the data in real time, trading their insights and making their discoveries available at once. This is the way that we have seen things like genomics and astrophysics and epidemiology and neuroscience move forward. And that dawn is with us now for the study of communication. So this conference will provide introductions to emerging computational and technical methods, and it will speculate about our joint future. Welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Turnell, for your wonderful speech. So Professor Turnell has given us the history and also the focus of our conference series. So starting from 2018, we have convened the first conference of our multimodal communication. And this is another time all the scholars and other participants have come together to discuss wonderful and interesting issues. So I have no doubt to believe that for the 2-day sessions, you are going to benefit a lot from this conference series. Thank you very much, Professor Turnell. So that makes the end of the opening ceremony. We are going to have a 5-minute break before we move to the academic session. And the next session will be chaired by Professor Tang Yelin. And so after 5 minutes break, we are going to start our academic session. Thank you very much. Thank you.